Today's sponsor is Audible.com, who has more than 180,000 audiobooks and spoken word audio products. Get a free audiobook of your choice at www.audibletrial.com/shark. Welcome to Movies, Films, and Flicks podcast. I'm your host, John Lossoff. Joining me, as always, are my co-hosts, Mark Hoffmeyer.
Doctor. Mr. Doctor.
Okay, I'm not going to judge. I see what you did there.
Hey, guys.
Yeah. John Lemgood, say hi.
How's it going?
You know what? I love throwing John off. I want to, I want next, I'm giving this away, but this will get him anyway. Next time I hang out with Levingood, I want to be like, hey, John, your shoes untied. And I'll look down and they're not untied. And then I just want you to freak out about it. Like, what do you mean they're untied? What is, is it, am I not seeing it? Like, am I tied the wrong way? And I just want you to have like a flop sweat.
Yeah, then Levingood realizes he's wearing like sandals.
And I'll be wearing sandals.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like, what do you, Mark, I'm wearing sandals. What do you mean? Like, are they wrong? Like, yeah, let's do it, Lev.
Yeah, like you just look down and very assertively and purposefully point, like, those are untied.
So this is going to sound bad. I was in Tulsa, right? And I was walking into the convention center and this couple ran up to me and they're like, hey, where's the courthouse? And I went, okay, you go up those steps, you go straight up, and you take a left. And they're like, oh, thank you so much. And I was walking away, guys, and this guy next to me is like, man, you're on top of it. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure the courthouse isn't that way. But I just sounded like I knew what I was talking about.
In your head, you're just thinking, courthouse? This is a convention center.
Well, they didn't specify which courthouse, so they would eventually hit a courthouse.
If they kept walking.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Sure. You weren't wrong.
No.
So.
But what really threw me off, Mark, when you did the Mr. Doctor, and I know what you were doing, and we're going to get to that later in the pod, but it was the voice you were using, and I was trying to place the voice, and it actually made me think of, and this is totally out there, but the Man on the Moon movie. It sounded like the alter ego Tony Clifton. Mr. Doctor. Yeah. That popped in my head. And it totally warped my mind.
I tried to do Sean Connery, but as everyone's learned on this podcast, when I try to do a specific impression, it doesn't go right. I can only get the impression right when I don't try.
I honestly did sense the Sean Connery-ness, but it was just, I don't know, it was the manner of delivery. It made me think of Tony. It's like Sean Connery doing an impression of Tony Clifton saying Mr. Doctor. So Sean Connery doing Tony Clifton doing Mads Mikkelsen.
Oh.
But have that doing Michael Caine.
And then doing James Cagney. Doctor. Mr. Doctor, say. Isn't that strange?
I'm
on top of the world, Ma.
Did you just get some Leo DiCaprio in there? Yeah. I'm on top of the world,
Ma.
Okay, I think now's a good time to start the podcast like we usually do, and that's with listener questions. Levingood, I think you have listener questions for us this week.
Yeah, so our first listener question comes from the Keeper of the Crimson Quill, which is the pseudonym of the writer of the Rivers of Gru website. And he asks, with horror moving in cycles, as it does, do you forecast a rise in fortunes coming over the next few years? Are we due for another resurgence like the 80s?
First, I just want to say that Lazvath, I want to give you props because basically it's like you're the passenger in a car and either Levingood and I are just swerving all over the road and you're reaching for the wheel to like straighten us out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you're the one that's like, yeah, I just want
like-
to thank you for that.
It's also like a manual drive car, so I'm also like shifting gears, even though I'm not in the
every
driver's
now and then
seat.
we get so out there that he's burning the clutch trying to pull us back on the road.
Like he's
Downshift.
really fighting, yeah, and we're getting annoyed at it. Like, come on, man, I know what I'm doing, and you're like, no, you don't. So thank you. But I think we're in a resurgence right now for horror. To answer the question, I mean, if you look at this year with Lights Out, Don't Breathe, Conjuring 2. I don't think we're creating, the 80s had, Halloween happened 78. Then you had Freddy, Jason, The Thing, horror movies like that. But I think right now, in The Witch is 2016, I think as far as quality-wise, we're in a very great time for horror. I think we're in kind of like an indie boom. But I also think that there's some wide releases right now that are, a Ouija 2. I think we're in a pretty strong time for horror. So, I mean, I think we're in a boom time right now.
I'm going to agree with that. That's the first thing I thought of when he had issued this question, which, by the way, he had issued this question probably in April, and I've just been going in order through the questions. But I mean, I agree. I think that we're in the middle of it. And I mean, I don't know how he was getting, because I know he stays on top of these movies. I follow his website quite closely. I wonder if he just thinks that, in my opinion, it's been going on for a good 4 or 5 years, right?
Yeah.
Does that sound fair?
Yeah, it does.
Okay, so maybe I think that what he's referring to maybe is kind of that solid era, because like we're talking like 1978 to maybe 1990. It was like a 12-year stretch of just excellent time to be a horror fan. Actually, if you include 1990 and 78, it's a 13-year stretch. And right now, I'd say that it would be reaching to say that we've even hit a solid 6-year stretch.
I think it started in 2011 with Insidious. And that opened up James Wan's role, James Wan, the director, and that also opened up Blumhouse. So from there, after Insidious, there was the other Insidious movie, Sinister, but then that opened up to like,
The
Honeymoon.
competition at a higher bar now, yeah.
Yeah, Spring. So I think 2011 was like the big kickoff. Because if you look at most of the 2000s, it was, we had movies like 28 Days Later and good films, but it was also very heavily doused with Asian horror remakes, classic horror remakes, and then also, Final Fantasy Saw. So I think there were new properties, but I think now we're getting into a lot of the newer properties. But I also think in the 80s, Freddy was like a cultural revolution. Jason was really popular. So, I mean, I think those films were, I don't think we have that right now as far as like a horror movie that comes out. Like people aren't dressing up as the Warrens, like they're not going to be idolized like Freddy was. So I don't think we have that kind of boom time. But I think as far as quality, I think we're strong. I think, in my opinion, I think the horror movies now are as strong as they were in the 70s. They're not going to be as classic, but like 68 to 78, Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, Exorcist, Jaws, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Rosemary's Baby. I think in that time there was some very good horror films. And then do you think 80s there was good horror films, but there's a lot of good horror flicks in the 80s?
I think 80s was the era of making your killer into the star and making your kills creative.
Yeah.
And now, like our current boom, you said like people aren't dressing up as the Warrens, but now it's again, the bad guys aren't the stars necessarily, and kills are just still creative when they can be, to keep, because the bar was set there 30 years ago. But now it's like the writing is on point. It's no longer the premise being cool is enough. Now it has to be like the whole synthesis of the story, and that's what we're enjoying now. Like you mentioned, Honeymoon, Hush, Spring, Insidious, even, and The Conjuring. Like those those stories have like all three acts synthesized well. And in the 80s, it didn't matter. It's just, I'm going to work my way through kills 1 through 8. And at the end, the bad guy is defeated, I think.
Yeah.
And, so Lazovath, let's just say that we're starting an era. Do you think that our present inertia will keep us going through this decade to maybe make a comparable, impactful decade like the 80s?
Yeah, I do agree with Mark. It seems like we're kind of in a period, a time where the quality of horror movies is probably the most consistent it's ever been since, probably the 80s. It's just, I'm reading through this question. With horror moving cycles as it does, do you forecast rise in fortunes coming over the next few years? That question seems to imply that horror movies have never really are kind of iffy financially speaking. I don't really know about that. I feel like horror movies have always done well financially. It's just quality wise, that's always been the inconsistency. The inconsistent factor that comes in. But no, I think we're living in a golden age of horror as far as quality goes. Like, it seems like horror movies are becoming more consistent in terms of how good they are. So they're not just like, just cheesy torture porn like movies we got in like the early 2000s, or like the copycat slasher flicks we got in the 90s. These days we're getting like kind of really thoughtful, really original horror flicks, and it's just like they're genuinely scary as well. It's it's a really awesome time to be a horror fan.
Yeah, I can comfortably say that 2000 to 2010, it's not that I struggled to find good horror movies. They were around, but I mean, it's more like they punctuated the calendar instead of filling the calendar year with a good roster.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, because if you think of the really good original films in the last couple of years, you could do like, a Bubba Gump Shrimp type thing with all the great horror films. Mm-hmm. And people are probably going to want to punch me in the gut, but during the 2000s, I'm thinking 28 Days Later, Pan's Labyrinth, Descent, Drag Me to Hell. I'm sure people are shaking the screen yelling at me, but I could rattle off a lot more 2010s horror films that I think are actually very good.
Right.
I feel like this is the last few years, and I guess I notice especially because of our reviews on the website and our discussions on this podcast over the last few years, I feel like every month I encounter a new horror movie that I'm excited about. Now, it might be something that didn't go to theaters, but I can say that every calendar year for the last several years, I've easily found 12 horror movies that I'd be excited to share with people, or excited to discuss, or that I was thrilled to write about, not because it was bad. I can't say that about 2007, 6, 5, when I love the campy Puppet Master movies at all, but like the early 2000s was a time of like the late Hellraiser sequels, and
yeah, the early 90s were garbage. We've covered that on the podcast. Like, that was really, like, we're up to what, 96? Like,
yeah,
it started getting pretty okay around 96.
'Cause that's when Scream came out.
Yeah. And there's From Dusk Till Dawn, Frighteners, and what's crazy? They just announced a sequel to Don't Breathe, and I'm excited for a sequel because I think it can tell a good story. So now when they're like, there's a sequel to this horror film, I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
But normally
So this blind guy, is he going to follow the survivor and her little sister?
No, she's going to go back for him.
Yeah.
Oh, you think she's going to go back for him?
I wouldn't let it stand.
So what? Wait. Well, it seemed like she might have at the end of the movie, but I can, like once she's happy to be alive and gets over it, yeah, she might want to go end that dude who might kidnap and try and impregnate some other stranger. But like, what would you call that movie? Like, is it just Don't Breathe 2?
Don't breathe too deep.
Oh.
That is the Too Fast, Too Furious of horror sequels.
How about like keep
Don't
holding your
breathe.
breath?
Well, keep holding your breath.
Don't breathe.
Yeah. Like the last movie should be called You Can Breathe Now.
And then they play that Bush song, breathe in, breathe out,
Oh yeah.
breathe in, breathe out.
They made the movies just for the song.
Breathe in.
So that was the trailer and theme song for An American Werewolf in Paris from
No,
1997.
that was Nothing Hurts Like Your Mouth.
Oh, you're right. I was mixing up the songs. I thought they were the same song in my head for a minute.
I know my Bush soundtrack
You know, you're
songs.
Gavin Rosdale.
That's right. So wait, so I think we almost answered this question, so I'm going to switch it up and go banana.
No, I like what, two don't, two breathe.
Two don't,
Two don't two breathe.
don't breathe too deep.
Yeah, that's the answer.
Is Tyrese in it?
Yeah,
Tyrese is the best.
dude. If there's like a bromance in your movie, you gotta get Tyrese.
Dude,
Really?
he could bromance with anybody.
It's like Tyrese and Paul Walker, rest in peace, or Zach Braff and Donald Faison. It's got to be one of those two pairs.
Oh, yeah.
No,
Man,
no, just bromance has never been better.
I love my like there's Butch Cassidy, Sundance in the Sundance Kid, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
The best bromance is Roman and Brian O'Connor from Too Fast Too Furious.
Yeah,
You know what, John? Put that down on paper. Throw it on the floor. That I'm saying it.
I'll do it.
You haven't added anything to the files in about 10 episodes there.
When John steps in the office, you hear.
Oh yeah.
It's from all those files that were thrown on the ground.
Yep.
Yeah, the filing cabinet's not locking for for anything. So
Yeah.
I think that's comfortably answered.
yeah.
Two don't, two breathe.
Oh, yeah.
Subtitle banana. The Banana Chronicles. Okay, well, the second question comes from Josie from Las Vegas, who has given me a laundry list of horror questions that we slowly get through. And she says, not really a horror question in this case, but why in Independence Day, why on Independence Day do they still make fun of Randy Quaid's assertion that he was previously kidnapped by aliens when at that point in the movie, everyone not only knows that aliens exist, but they know that the aliens have visited the Earth before? Why is he still treated like a crackpot?
Okay, so I was thinking about this ending today, and I got goosebumps. I just want to say 20 years later, and I still get goosebumps thinking about the ending where he drives back into the plane saying, I'm back. But all right, so get this. Everyone has a friend, right? That's just a total idiot.
Hey.
Like everyone, like, and not this group, but everyone has a friend that's just like annoying, or somebody where anything they say, you're like, ugh. But the one time they're right, you're kind of like, I still don't like them. So, I mean, like, everyone's just so conditioned to Randy Quaid being like a crackpot that even when he might be right, they're like, eh.
So you're saying like one right doesn't make up for the million other wrongs?
Yeah.
That's what you're
Like,
saying.
yeah, I mean, he's a squirrely fella, and he's always drunk, and like, it's, I think he was probably squirrely before the aliens got him, too. So, I mean, he was squirrely, aliens get him, he's still squirrely, his poor kids have to take care of him, he blames aliens, like, and then, I don't know. He redeemed himself, though.
I mean, yeah, he blew up one of those ships.
And he's like, I'm back.
I mean, part of me questions, like, the thing is that in the movie, right, he's going on about how, like, he was captured and experimented on. And at no point in the movie, in a passing newsreel, in a montage of discussions or panic, or even later when the aliens are coming, no one is being captured. No one ever refers to being captured. No one ever refers to experiments at any point. So what if he was just a drunk? He did, in fact, see an alien spaceship visit Earth, and he was hammered out of his mind, and it was all just a drunk fever dream that he got abducted.
Yeah, like he sees the alien ship, he passes out, then he wakes up, like maybe he fell on something, like a corn stalk, and he's like, they probed me.
Yeah, like, and like he was taking a leak while he was drunk, and he passed out and fell on the ground. You don't remember that last bit before you pass out or something, I guess. And he thinks that his pants are down because he got probed.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, because again, that movie was elaborate. It covered a lot of ends. It covered the aliens' goals. It covered their communication systems, how they manipulated us, their probing missions, all this stuff. And there wasn't even a blip about experiments, abductions, human captures, human recoveries, anything like that at any point. So I think maybe he was a crackpot.
Yeah.
And he very well. What if he didn't encounter them directly before and only witnessed them? Like, I don't even know. Because it was never established to us if he was always crazy or if he became a drunk post abduction out of depression and social exile for his claims.
He's Randy Quaid. So
and unfortunately that movie character kind of forecast his future in reality. He had a tough break.
So I read I read a bunch of forums about this, and basically everyone's split. He's either a crackpot or he did, but we have no proof. So it's all just basically what you think.
Yeah, I think he witnessed something.
Yeah.
I don't think that they experimented on him.
I think some aliens robbed some guy, and then he saw it and just passed out. I think they shook down somebody.
Like, he witnessed in L.A., like, Tim Allen getting, like, held up at laser gun point for his beryllium sphere.
Yeah, exactly. Because, I mean, at the end, it was pretty declarative. I'm back. Like, he seemed familiar.
Well, to himself.
Why would you return the person though? If you're an alien and you catch somebody and you like probe them and do all that, like I wouldn't put them back.
Well, what would you do with Randy Quaid? It's like, it's like, well,
yeah,
I don't want him.
I mean, so they kept all the other people and gave him back.
So yeah, I'm gonna return this one.
Yeah, so they'll never believe.
I think that the alien, how like later in the movie, Jeff Goldblum came up with his virus idea to put down like their defenses. I think that the aliens thought, all right, so we captured this guy to learn more about humans, but he's so nuts. I think we should plant him back on Earth as a virus to infect Earth. They were just hoping that it would be contagious somehow.
Catch the Quaid.
Yeah, catch the Quaid. Catch a bad case of Quaid.
Wow.
The problem with this is there's just no answer to this question because it's just basically what you think.
Well, good. We don't do well with questions with real answers.
Yeah. That happened to me once, and I'm still not right from it.
It was a fluke. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Okay. I think. Yeah. I think I don't know. Yeah. Did we answer it? No. What was the final answer for that? No. Okay. We're just not even going to acknowledge. We're not even going to acknowledge that I had an answer. Just straight up.
Tim Allen got robbed at Alien Point.
Right. Okay. Thank you to our wonderful listeners for his wonderful questions. Sorry to the second person for us even refusing to even acknowledge that there's an answer to your question. Hey, that's a first, so maybe you can hang your hat on that. Yeah, all right, Mark. What's the topic for us this week?
Iron Man, Incredible Hulk, Iron Man 2, Captain America, Thor, Avengers, Thor 2, Captain America 2, Ant-Man, Iron Man 3, Avengers 2, Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh wait, I think
Captain America: Civil War.
I know the answer. These are all Stan Lee movies.
Yep, Stan Lee movies.
Yeah.
So you're going through all the Marvel Universe movies in order.
Trying to.
From memory.
I messed up. and then wait, Mister Doctor,
Mr. Doctor.
Mr. Doctor.
So the doctor. So tonight we're going to be talking about Doctor Strange, the 14th Marvel film that was released. It has already cleared 600 million worldwide. It's become a phenomena. I thought it was going to be Marvel's maybe first flop. It was directed by the guy who did Deliver Us from Evil, The Exorcism of Emily Rose. Emily Rose.
Oh, okay.
Sinister. Scott Derrickson.
Kind of a Freudian
And
slip
it
there.
stars everyone's favorite Cumberbatch, Benedict Cumberbatch. And I loved it. And you know what's crazy? I was just thinking about this. Everyone talks about how Marvel just has a template. But I feel like they've earned their template because Iron Man was such a gamble. Their whole thing was a gamble. And now they just released a movie about a goateed magician who does a bunch of wibbly wobbly stuff with his hands. And then he jumps in other dimensions and he still has his goatee. Like, this is a daring movie. It's a trip. But Marvel's just gotten so good at making these movies that they just keep succeeding. And so today we're going to talk about Doctor Strange. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned that goatee, by the way. Like, if that wasn't legit from the comic book, like, I would never have approved of that facial hair.
Yeah, and so I guess it's interesting because the story centers on a man called
Stephen Strange. Yeah.
Stephen Strange.
MD.
MD. World famous, surgeon. He only takes things he can crack, 100%, success rate. He gets into a car accident. He messes up his hands really bad. He grows a beard, becomes depressed, meets an ancient one. She trains him, and he saves the world from like a big blob.
Yeah.
What was my point?
The goatee.
About the template or his facial hair?
So he tries to shave after he messes up his hands. So he's a smarmy doctor. He hurts himself. Tries to shave. Can't. Becomes a magician. Magic shaving.
Well, that was actually when his hand was still shaky, though. That he suddenly had like this super South Florida, like detailed, thin facial hair.
You can't do that with shaky hands.
No.
I don't know. I don't know how he did it, man. I guess he's just patient.
That's like if he has to shave every day doing that.
So you mentioned he was famous. So like in the movie, at one point, he mentions that he won't take a certain surgery because he doesn't want to tarnish his perfect record. And all I can think is like later he boasts about this oath that he took, the Hippocratic oath or whatever.
Hippocratic
oath.
Hippopotamus?
He's not a hypocrite. He's not a hypocrite.
The hungry
Hippopotamus.
hippo.
So, so he takes that oath, and later he talks about how he seriously takes that oath when he's over at that monastery thing, and but he's just like straight up turning down trying to help someone because he doesn't want to tarnish his perfect record. And by the way, no surgeon his age. I mean, now I didn't look this up, but I'm quite confident that no surgeon his age, at least not such a highly successful one even, would have a perfect record. You don't learn from always getting everything right. Mm-hmm. You don't. You're going to have a lot of failures. So I thought that was kind of one of those things where they overblew things a little too much, even though it was just for a moment. Like when that happened in the movie, like I almost got a twitch.
Wouldn't you say that's a little strange?
Oh.
Fruit.
Let me get
Low-hanging fruit.
It's a little strange, Mark.
Doesn't Strange
I
also
always
get
think-
called out for that for only getting like the or only taking the crackable cases?
Yeah.
Like he gets called out on that. I forgot by who. I think it was like Caecilius or maybe like the Ancient One, or I don't know. It was somebody, but like I mean, he definitely doesn't get away with it, for sure in that regard.
I mean, people kind of know.
Yeah.
Like, I'd rather be the doctor that's like 90%, but I've tackled like the really tough ones.
Right.
I feel like 90% at his age would be an amazing career.
But if we're in like NCAA football and we're playing strength of schedule, like I'm sure there's other people out there who have harder schedules.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if he's got 100% though, like he's basically only treating skinned knees.
Yeah,
That's how he's not losing any patients. They all just have a skinned knee. And he's like, here's some Neosporin and a bandage.
Well, the thing is, like, they also showed him, or like they at least established in the beginning of the movie, like he's actually legit skilled. Like, they showed him like kind of, what was it, quote unquote, freehanding like that surgery where you had to remove a bullet from that patient's brain. So, I mean, he's not a scrub by any means. He's just like he's very vain, which is like his biggest character flaw. It seems
Yeah.
like, you know?
Sure.
and it's crazy, dude. When he like lights up his hands and he can't work anymore, Rachel McAdams, this doctor,
Yeah.
brings him a really nice dinner while he's growing a bad beard and moping, and then he's like, "Get out of here! I'm being self-destructive and I'm pushing you out of my life." And he says some really mean stuff to her.
Hey, quick question: did like everybody in the theater when you guys watched it, like in my theater when I watched it, like did everybody just kind of like gasp or groan like during that scene?
I gasped. I wanted to yell. I'll be like, "Don't talk to Mick Adams like that."
Dude, she's a cutie, and she just came here to help you out, and you're just kicking her out. Like, what's wrong with you?
Like, and she was being supportive.
Yeah.
Like, and then I guess the director, he was like, "Man," he's like, "I was really worried the audience was gonna stay with him after that." But like he was,
It's funny too because like when he's like sending her off, like after she's like basically turned around and she's starting to walk towards the door out, he's like, as if some cheese and wine and happy conversation would improve my day. Like not an exact quote, but it was something like that. And I'm like, that is exactly the kind of thoughtful thing that should brighten anybody's day.
yeah, "Don't let the door hit you on the way out." I was like, "No."
You know what? I kind of wish he went even further. Like,
Yeah, like he just keeps.
So everyone thought it, right? I mean, the comparisons are all over the place. How did you feel about the Iron Man modeling? I'll call it the Tony Starking of his character. There's nothing being copied here, by the way, in my opinion, but he kind of fits that Tony Stark, super arrogant, like you want to dislike him, but he's too charming, so you like him. And when he pushes away hard. And
Like it didn't bother me.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
and then the facial hair.
yeah. I was about to say, there's actually like, thinking about it afterwards, like there's actually like a lot of very similar story beats between Doctor Strange and Iron Man. I mean, the characters are very much same. Like they're both arrogant. They're both very intelligent. They both have goatees, But like, I guess in the course of their origin stories, they suffer like a personal tragedy that forces them to kind of reevaluate the outlook on their lives. Like Tony Stark, like he was like a weapons manufacturer, and he got almost killed by one of his weapons, so he had to kind of change his outlook. Then Doctor Strange, like he was like super arrogant neurosurgeon. He suffers like a debilitating injury himself that can't be fixed, so he just kind of has to reevaluate his vanity. And it's just like there's very similar like story beats, but I think like the biggest difference is the approach by the two actors. Like I feel like Benedict takes a more, because Robert Downey Jr. is like he's very flashy but in a good way, but Benedict is like, I think he takes a more thoughtful approach when it comes to portraying his characters,
Yeah, and I'm with you. And I think there's more like I think he's more uncertain in himself too than Tony was, because Tony's just so rapid fire. Like even when he's kind of neurotic, he's just boom, 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 boom on you.
Yeah.
But then I was thinking about there's that scene with Doctor Strange where he's like attempting some jokes and he's not like sure of himself and he just kind of lets it trail off.
Oh,
Like Tony wouldn't do that. And also like my dentist, I have a great dentist, and the dude is like he's really arrogant. Nice guy, but like I guess if you're the world's best neurologist or whatever he is, you're gonna be kind of that too.
I have a dentist who's like super arrogant too. What is it about
So wait,
dentists?
are
Like,
these arrogant dentists like the best dentists who couldn't get into med school?
I mean, I don't know. They do a pretty good job. He does a pretty good job of my teeth, so I can't complain. I don't know.
Like I just think maybe that's like a trait of the person. But I think you're right though. I think with his, I think there's more of a. I think they're different characters. I think the comparison's there, but if you really looked at it,
Yeah.
I think you can see some differences. Also, a lot of people are comparing it to Inception, but Inception only has a few moments of the city bending. Like that's like the tip. That's like a sketch.
Sure.
I guess. I don't know. It's like the rough draft, and then like what they do in Doctor Strange is like the fully fleshed out version of that.
They even started the movie with like a one of those Inception like sequences. It was pretty awesome.
Yeah. Near a pub I had a beer at called Sherlock Holmes in London. The best cask ale you'll find if you're ever out there. It's good. Okay. Wait, so Sherlock Holmes was on the street where the pub Sherlock Holmes was. Oh no, that was Tilda Swinton tearing it up. Never mind.
Okay.
Never mind.
All right.
So,
sorry, guys.
Before we depart Rachel McAdams, by the way, throughout the whole movie, I really wish that her character had a more significant role.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what she did.
She was more a vehicle from which we witnessed Strange degenerate instead of shifting from scapegoat to innovation like Pepper Potts, kind of.
The biggest problem with McAdams is she's such like a good actress. I didn't really notice it at first.
Well, I think the thing is,
I kept hoping. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead, Mark. Sorry.
I kept hoping she would get bit by like a radioactive grasshopper and then join Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
Like I was like, make her a superhero. I don't think it works like that, but I was like, come on, like
I've seen Spider-Man. I know how it works.
Yeah, exactly. Like I kind of wanted her to have more like a Rosario Dawson role that she has in Daredevil, Jessica Jones, and Luke Cage.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I think by default, she's kind of the character that the audience has to relate to, because like everybody else in the cast is like, well, you have like a sorcerer, you have the evil bad guy with like the dark glowing eyes, then you have the super like a strict librarian type, and like I don't know, like
are you talking about Beyonce Wong?
Yeah. And like I don't know, Rachel McAdams' character is like kind of like the only normal one in the movie. It's kind of hilarious. Actually, it was pretty awesome.
You're right.
Yeah, I think she's also kind of like the anchor for like Strange's like kind of humanity, I guess, because in the beginning of the movie, he was like super vain, and it's just like to a point where it's just like he wasn't like a normal human being. Like he was just like super arrogant, super smart doctor, and it's just like, no one can relate to him. And it's just like Rachel McAdams was kind of the goalpost the writers put in there. Like, okay, this is where we want him to be, like towards the end of the movie. So, personality wise, I guess.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. And then what else was going to say? So she was in Sherlock Holmes with Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
And Benedict Cumberbatch was Sherlock Holmes.
Played Sherlock Holmes.
Boom.
Wow.
I had to atone for my earlier mess up.
I think you just blew my mind with that connection.
Yeah, I heard it explode.
Yeah. You know what? Yeah. I think that was such a mind-blowing event. I think we need to take a break here. We'll be right back.
When I say pod, you say
pie.
Wait a minute.
Whoa, what's
Robert,
going on, Kyle?
Take your headphones off real quick.
Okay, sorry.
John, what the hell is this?
Oh, I don't know. Robert invited me over.
Yeah, I don't know. This is kind of awkward. Are we doing like a promo or something?
I don't know. I wish he put on his pants though.
Yeah, he's like dancing around. He's talking about Shark Dropper.
I think he's looking for the baby oil.
Anyways, Robert, what are we doing? What are we doing?
What was that? I can put my headphones back on?
Yeah.
Oh, we're doing a promo for Shark Dropper.
Oh, okay.
That podcast we do that has improv, and we just talk about our daily lives and stuff.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
I still wish you'd find your pants.
Where can I find it?
Oh, wait. Are we supposed to wear sharkdropper.com?
Short shot time.
Welcome back to Movies, Films, and Flicks. So during the break, we were all discussing our favorite donuts, right? Personally, I like the Krispy Kreme original glaze. I feel like there's nothing better.
Boston cream.
From Dunkin' Donuts?
Oh, Mark, I thought you were going to go with Portland Comic-Con and just say Voodoo Donuts in general.
I like the one with the fruity pebbles on top.
Oh. You know, when I was in L.A.
There's actually this place in Ocean City.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, there's this place in Ocean City, New Jersey I used to go to in my childhood called Brown's Donuts, and you would wait like an hour to get your donuts, and people would wait, and they were so happy to wait.
Oh,
Nice.
Because I mean, it was one of those places where it really is that good, and it really is worth the hype.
Donuts are just like the ultimate kind of guilty pleasure food because like it's just fried dough and just like you
They
have
still
like
exist, by the way, so it's not.
oh yeah there's just fried dough of like all sorts of like sweets or like syrups or like stuff like on top of it. Like it's so good. I don't know.
Comfort food.
I would enjoy doing a top 5 episode, Lazavath, on donuts.
Man, I have to go top 10. I'm very opinionated when it comes to donuts.
And also, you got to watch the new Shark Dropper YouTube show where John just eats donuts, says nothing, and he just eats them, makes it last for about 30 minutes each donut.
I didn't know I was
So
being recorded.
we watch him eating the donuts.
Yeah, Lazavath just eats the donuts.
Yeah, I didn't know I was being recorded. So
Lazavath, you're kind of like
it's
kind of
true
like
reality TV.
You're like that iguana being chased by all the snakes.
Yeah. Oh, I've seen that clip. That was epic. That was like a Michael Bay type of scene. I'm like, wow.
Oh, that was the.
Well, no, because you said like you didn't know you were being filmed. It's because Mark is following you like that cameraman. Like he's just sitting there in the gravel in the tropics for days, waiting for you just to eat a donut.
What was that? What was that lizard just doing there in like a pit full of snakes?
It was just it's a hatchling. I think it was a hatchling that kind of got discombobulated.
Oh man, like the egg just kind of rolled off a cliff and ended up in a snake pit.
I was on the edge of my seat though, man. Oh my gosh.
Man. Oh, it was just like
Planet Earth 2.
yeah, like I don't get this tense watching like a Michael Bay movie or something like that. I'm like, oh man.
Actually, no. The original, I don't remember if it was Planet Earth or Blue Planet, that was narrated by Sigourney Weaver. But they did one scene, one segment with these African hunting dogs, and it had like this helicopter shot of the dogs convening, and it reminded me of the hunting scene of the velociraptors in the high grass. Except these animals are more coordinated than Spielberg could have even dreamt up velociraptors to be. So it was like, I mean, some of those nature shows have gotten really badass in the last 5-10 years.
Oh, Planet Earth, Life, Planet Earth 2. Jeez Louise.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Like you can watch them with drinks. Like you can watch them on a date. Like they are awesome.
Oh, yeah. All right, guys. I think we have another listener question to get to.
Sure. Last question comes from Billy Crash from the Last Knock podcast. And he asks, what film do you wish had at least one sequel?
Jumper.
Oh,
I'm serious, guys. Doug Liman, amazing director. Edge of Tomorrow, great stuff. He built a neat world with these people jumping all over the place with a good cast. I'd love to see it. However, I was looking on Reddit earlier, and there's a thing that's also I want Indiana Jones 4. I think that'd be good. And then,
Oh yeah.
yeah,
It's been a while
Indiana
since
Jones
Last
4.
Crusade. So
Yeah. And but I saw why don't I want someone's wrote I wish Sean William Scott and The Rock made another movie because I love The Rundown. I want a Rundown 2 movie where
they
it's
did do another movie together, though.
Southland Tales.
Yeah.
But I want them to do The Rundown 2 where you know he's a cook. Sean William Scott's a ne'er-do-well. He gets in trouble. They got to fly back to South America. And they just beat up people and act charming.
So, by the way, like back in like 0405, weren't there talks of a Rundown 2?
Yeah.
It just didn't happen.
No.
that's kind of normal though. Like just
You mentioned that
yeah.
You mentioned that Jumper was directed by the same director of Edge of Tomorrow.
Yeah, and Swingers. Like, the guy's a big name director.
Edge of Tomorrow was the first thought I had, and then I looked on IMDb just curiously, and sure enough, there's an Edge of Tomorrow 2 in the works, so I disqualified my pick.
Yeah. I want, like, a movie that is, like, has, like, a really declarative name, but it has, like, a sequel. Like The Last Holiday 2.
You mean like Friday the 13th, like Part 4, the final chapter.
Yeah, don't breathe too deep.
Yeah.
And so then they made a Friday the 13th Part 5, A New Beginning.
Brother.
In video games, there's
Little did they know there would be multiple reboots.
in video games there's this game called Final Fantasy. Next month they're coming out with Final Fantasy 15. So, yeah, there's nothing final about that fantasy apparently.
Yeah, like
It's
Final
all the same
Destination 2.
fantasy.
Yeah,
It's all the same fantasy.
I want Begin Again. Like, would the sequel to Begin Again just be Begin Again? Because you're essentially
Well,
beginning
that's right
again.
up there. Yeah, that's right up there with The Last Exorcism Part 2.
Oh, yeah. Or 13 Assassins to 50-52.
yeah.
Dead Again.
That's right. So
Again.
I'm saying Jumper 2.
Jumper 2.
Jumper 2. Lazabeth, what you got?
So like everybody's expecting me to say it, like, Big Trouble in Little China 2, obviously, and like Indiana Jones 4, obviously, and like, if we could somehow like go back in time and make like a Goonies 2 with like the original cast when they were like, not old like they are now, like that would be great. But I'm gonna go with a more recent pick because I'm a prisoner in the moment. Apparently, I really like The Nice Guys. It came out in the summer. It was a Shane Black movie starring Ryan Gosling and Russell Crowe. It did okay at the box office. I wish it did better, but the ending of the movie kind of definitely sets it up for a sequel, and I would love to watch a sequel to Nice Guys. I don't think it's going to happen, but I really, really love The Nice Guys. It was such... I love the fact that it was kind of a noirish type of movie, but combined with like a Shane Black buddy cop, sensibility. It was just like a really fun movie to watch. That was also really, really quality like entertainment. I want to see a Nice Guys sequel. I don't think it's going to happen though.
It kind of had a Kiss Kiss Bang Bang vibe for me.
Oh
And
yeah,
wait, you don't like Kiss Kiss Bang Bang?
No, I love Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. I'm saying
Okay.
the style of the movie, though.
Yeah. Well, same writer.
yeah,
I,
same writer.
But you know what I would like about Nice Guys is they've already established a relationship in the characters.
Mm-hmm.
So they could go further down the rabbit hole with those two idiots.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, there's no finality, not in a bad way. But, like, they didn't exactly like seal the book at the end of that movie. Like, yeah, I could easily see that going on. Kind of like Lethal Weapon 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it ended with like Russell Crowe drinking from a bottle of whiskey.
which like the whole movie, like he was like, no, I don't drink. So it'd be like a cool little character quirk to develop or explore in like a sequel, which I don't think will happen, but. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I want to say that Nice Guys has like probably like the funniest moment for me so far in 2016, because like earlier in the movie, like Russell Crowe's character is telling Ryan Gosling's character a story about a guy who like as he's dying, he suddenly sees like Richard Nixon come in and try to save him, and then like later on in the movie, Ryan Gosling falls from a high rise into a pool. Then he looks over and sees like Richard Nixon swimming towards him. And Ryan Gosling's like freaking out. I was just like, I haven't laughed so hard in a movie in a while. I'm just like, oh man, that was awesome.
How would you guys feel about a movie called Deeper Blue Sea?
Oh, man. Where LL and Thomas Jane are hunting down sharks.
My real pick though is In the Mouth of Madness, that 1994 Sam Neill Lovecraftian movie. I want to see that with the sequel, because the sequel to that would kind of be like erupting deep into the Mountains of Madness that Guillermo del Toro was once going to do and never happened.
Wait, so you're saying In the Mouth of Madness was going to become Mountains of Madness?
No, I'm saying that. So, In the Mouth of Madness was a very Lovecraftian style movie, and there are lots of nods to it. And where that movie ends is where the madness just starts to take hold in the world. So the follow-up to that would be very much akin to being deeper in the stories of H.P. Lovecraft's At the Mountains of Madness.
It'd be like 28 Days Later, but Lovecraftian.
Yeah, it would be the weeks later portion.
Yeah, just a bunch of
essentially.
angry people.
Just go nuts.
Yeah.
Like, I think they could do that now. Like, just pause everyone's, like, freeze everyone's DVR. I think we could have a In the Mouth of the Madness too.
God, I want it so bad. Well, just a Mountains of Madness, like a Lovecraft trilogy kind of thing. I need that in my life.
Sure.
Nice.
So what do you guys
Well,
say
this-
is the final answer here? I think it's Indiana Jones 4. We need an Indiana Jones 4. Like,
Yeah.
So,
Or we need Richard Nixon in a swimming pool.
exactly.
Who's playing that Richard Nixon?
Kevin Spacey.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Hanging out with Michael Shannon as Elvis.
It was just so funny. Like, it's just seeing that look in Ryan Gosling's face. Well, you know what? He was funny, like, throughout the whole movie. It was just, it's just not fair. Like, he's really handsome and he's also really funny. It's just like, damn it, Ryan, just save something for the rest of us.
Yeah, knock it off, Ryan. Go make Gods of Egypt 2.
Yeah.
There's a movie that better not ever get a sequel.
Oh, man.
I kind of want Begin Again Again.
Again.
Yeah, Begin Again Again Again.
Again.
Oh dear.
And like End of Watch too.
To end, to watch.
I do want Hot Tub Time Machine 2 to come out. That'd be a good sequel.
Too hot
To.
2 times. Machine.
No, there was a sequel. There was a sequel.
No, there wasn't.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I see what. Yeah, okay, yeah. Yeah.
Never.
Yeah. A Hot Tub Time Machine sequel and Indiana Jones 4. That's that's the final answer.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
feel like there should be a podcast in the future called Sequels That We Don't Acknowledge to Exist.
It would
Just
us
say nothing.
Yeah, we would just stay silent for like an hour. All right, Mark. I think it's time to continue on our discussion about Dr. or Mr. Doctor Strange, MD.
That's right. That's right. And so, we kind of opened up the film. We kind of talked about I named all the movies. We kind of got into that. But so what I want to do is he gets in the car accident. His hands are messed up. He gets his surgeries. They don't fix it. So he goes to Nepal and he finds a temple and he meets the Ancient One. So I want to know. And so this is pretty interesting, guys. This is a spoiler, of course. So one of the biggest problems with this, I guess, that arises in the film is we find out that the Ancient One gets her powers from the dark universe. Now, her right-hand man, Mordo, is like real straight-laced. He's sort of like kind of like a fundamentalist almost. Like he's real pure with the way that works out. So he becomes really angry about it. But I want to know what you guys kind of thought about the Ancient One, Tilda Swinton's performance, and what you thought.
So there was
Want
like
to know what I thought of
Oh, yeah,
Celtic
go ahead.
White Lady Morpheus?
Yes.
Elizabeth, you were going to get into something. Get into it. I'll
Oh, okay.
follow up.
so like there was like initial backlash because I guess like in the I've never read the comic books, so I'm not like an expert on Doctor Strange, but I guess in the comic books the Ancient One is an Asian man, and there was criticism that like with the casting of Tilda Swinton, like, well, you're just whitewashing the character. I'm just like, for me personally as an Asian guy, I'm like, well, let's just watch the movie and see how it turns out. And honestly, obviously I've never read the comic books. Like, I feel like Tilda Swinton did a really fantastic job. She really kind of sold the mystical kind of guru type of character. I mean, she had like kind of a weird look to her, which you could argue she always has like a weird look to her. But yeah, I just she carried herself very well, like as a master of like these mystical arts, and I totally believed it. I thought she did a really good job.
And I thought she really embraced the gray area, and I kind of liked that about her. Like, she was drawing from the dark universe, but she was also, I think she was doing so just from like a she was definitely being a hypocrite. That's what causes the main problem with Casillas, Mads Mikkelsen's character.
Yeah.
So, I mean, because of her doing that, it sparks all of this. But I don't think she was doing it from like a all-powerful standpoint. Like, I think that she just saw the gray.
I think
I don't think that she was a hypocrite.
yeah.
And I think that the movie, while it didn't brandish that on a flag for us, I think the movie told us she wasn't. Because
The director
You
said
bet.
she was.
well, that's fine. Most directors would more wisely say it's up to the viewer's interpretation, but that's fine. If he says that, that's great. But she even brings up shortly before she dies that her purpose is to find the next person to be in charge.
Yeah.
And that can't happen given the scale of the storytelling. I don't think that can happen in what would be a third or a half of a lifetime, from the point that you become that to the point that you find your successor. Like, I think that she was using that power as a vehicle to create time to find the next person to protect our universe. And that, yes, it's a rule that you all can't use that. We don't use that. But I mean, the teacher doesn't have to ask to use the restroom. She doesn't have to ask permission, but all the students do.
I think in the
Like,
eyes.
I think that she's just
Yeah. Yeah, but like in the eyes of Mordo and Cassilis, I do see how they see, like how they could call her that. Like in their eyes, I can see their thoughts, and how, you know, that's why I said that she's very gray, the Ancient One. She gets it. But then there's other people.
totally agree with that. Yeah.
But like in these guys' eyes, you know, they've been faithful. They want this, and they said that Mads Mikkelsen's character came from a really bad place of hurt. So he maybe thought he found like everything he needed. He was enlightened, and then he found out that this woman was sort of maybe not, you know, like was doing something she told him that the rules were against, and I think that probably drove him over the edge. So I guess, you know, for me, I think what she was doing was fine, but I guess that's where, yeah, there's a lot of people who can't handle that.
You know, I think from a plot perspective, it was actually a really smart decision because, you know, you go back to Mordo, Caecilius. They're kind of polar opposites, but they're both really rigid in like their belief system, so they don't really allow for compromise. Whereas the Ancient One, she had to compromise a little bit, and as a result, I think she's a far more interesting character than either Mordo or Caecilius. You know.
Absolutely. And you know what's interesting? The director, Scott Derrickson, came from like a fundamental Christian background. And so it's pretty interesting. They also did movies like Sinister and Exorcism of Emily Rose. And the one, what's the movie where Eric Bana wears a leather jacket?
Isn't that like
Deliver us
everybody?
from evil?
Yeah, Deliver Us from Evil. I love how you knew that, Lev. Thank you, man.
We talked about that back in episode 4. That was one of our keystone episodes.
And so he said that growing up, he said it wasn't like cult like, but he just said, you know, a lot of people are very friendly. He got along with a lot of people, but what he found is when there became sort of gray area or laws could be interpreted differently, or there became like a conflict of
Morality and law.
yeah, and so
The
like
intention of the law versus
Yeah.
the results. Yeah.
he said that people had a very hard time dealing with it, and so that's kind of interesting that that's been used here, and because the character of Mordo, from what I read, like from what I know, he wasn't really like that in the comics. So it's interesting how he kind of had his background and he added that into this film. So I don't
Yeah.
know. It's a pretty big theme from Marvel, Doctor Strange 14th Marvel
Yeah.
film.
I went to this completely blind.
yeah.
Like I made sure like not to like read any background info because I didn't know anything about Doctor Strange. And like after watching the movie, like I read that Mordo is actually considered one of Doctor Strange's like arch enemies. I'm like, whoa, that's a pretty cool way to introduce like one of your big like enemies or villains. You know?
Yeah, he's just become like a killer.
Yeah.
And I guess the sting at the end, at the very end there's a sting where he kills Benjamin Bratt's character who used magic to get his body back. And he's like, there's too many wizards, so he's going around killing all the wizards. It's like he's lost it. And I love that actor, Chitwell.
Chiwetel Ejiofor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I think he plays hurt better than any actor on the planet. Like he does this expression of hurt, and you're like, that guy's hurt.
Oh man,
Dude,
But,
even
come back,
in
bro.
the day, like what was it, Serenity?
Yeah, like 12 years. That dude can act. And
Oh yeah, 12 Years a Slave, totally.
Yeah. Like
And,
when he left Doctor Strange at the end of the movie, I'm like, oh, come back, don't leave.
yeah, and I kind of like him though because he stayed with him till the end, but then he's like, I'm done. So it's like he saw. You know what's interesting? He actually thought in a gray area. Then he's like, I'll team up with him until the bigger danger's done. So that showed more wrinkles in his game that he could maybe still come around like a Loki type guy, but he's still murdering a lot of other sorcerers.
Sure.
Yeah, even in that post-credit scene where he's like, I don't like how these sorcerers are violating the natural law, and therefore I will end them. Well, he's using sorcery to harm people who are not using their sorcery to harm anybody else. Like, it seems to me like he's, in a way, in the greatest possible violation of natural law that there is. Because they bring up that Doctor Strange, right, the Ancient One brings up, we defend the world against the mystical powers that they don't even know to exist. They use their sorcery, the world, and, the moguls, if you will, from sorcerous elements, from mystical elements. So he's going around just killing people with his sorcery who aren't hurting anybody. That's mean.
Yeah. You mean, man.
That's straight up mean. And I guess that's my point, is bullies, y'all be tripping.
Yeah,
Shit out.
seriously, what did Benjamin Bratt do to you, Mordo? He just likes to play basketball and work in his shop. Like, he's not hurting anybody.
Yeah, like actually, I'm surprised, Levin Good, that you haven't like written songs about this, but Scott Adkins is in this movie.
Oh no! When I saw him, I had a person on either side of me who looked over and said, "Who is that?" And the other guy's like, "I don't know." I'm like, "Scott Adkins."
Did you
He was on the screen for like a second and a half. Scott Adkins.
Did
Boom.
you pick
And
them
I
up?
love it.
Sorry, John, but did you pick them up on your shoulders and just start doing squats in the theater?
I mean, I'm large enough to, but I did.
Were you just yelling Adkins, and then anybody who yelled, you just
I was honestly, I was kind of like, I was in a silent reverie, very much enjoying it. But the thing is that, like, I like him so much, and we analyze movies so much, that I could kind of see the demons behind the curtain. I see how this happened, and I'm glad he got this. Don't get me wrong. It's not like Wolverine X-Men Origins, where he was just a stunt double with a long glorified scene. Like, he's on camera, you see his face. He said 2 words, so he didn't have to get paid dick.
But he got a lot of screen time.
That's how he got this role. They're like, no, he did, and that's hopefully going to work out very well for him. I just kind of wish that, I feel like it's very deliberate that he got no lines, because there were 2 pairs of disciples following Cassili, and Scott Adkins is the only one who spoke that little, and by a landslide. All of them else had at least 2 whole lines, 3 whole lines. Scott Adkins had 2 words.
I felt bad.
But he got
for
his
him.
kicks in.
Yeah.
Oh, he got lots of kicks in, lots of screen time, lots of acting faces, if you will. Like, it's not like there was no acting, but I wish he got some lines. But I was thrilled though that he got all that screen time with his face, normal. It's not like he was a demon or something. That was pretty sweet.
I can only imagine what Scott Adkins' agent was telling him when he was describing his role. Like, yeah, you're gonna play a disciple of like this sorcerer who's gone insane, but like, yeah, in your fight scene, you're gonna get beat up by Cape. Yeah, there you go.
Well, and I read a lot about this because I'm a Scott Adkins-ophile. So I had read like a year ago that he was going to be in this movie. But when I read that he was going to be in the movie, I kind of imagined, remember the original Mortal Kombat movie when they introduced Sub-Zero, and this guy does like that little kicking thing where he kicks like 80 times before his foot touches the ground again.
Yeah.
And it's very impressive. And then Sub-Zero just ice balls him, and you don't see the guy's face and he doesn't say a word. That's what I thought this would be. So I was super happy for Adkins.
And like
that he
he's
got
like
this.
he's like gliding through like the other zone. Like he gets like astro planed and he's like floating around. He landed his 2 signature kicks. Like, you know, his acting was way better than in Hard Target 2. But you know what? I'm going to say it right now, guys. We're going to talk about this maybe on our next pod, but that cape, it's runner-up for best non-human character of 2016.
Oh,
I
man.
really wish that cape got a little more attention.
See, I don't want to know more about it.
Yeah. I think it has the potential to be a good bromance on par with Roman and Brian from Too Fast, Too Furious.
Oh man, imagine if they both had capes.
Oh,
You know, it's funny too that you remember the scene where the cape is pulling him one way to get that like kind of trap suit restraining thing for Caecilian, I think.
Caecilius.
Okay, but to get that thing, like he wants to get the axe, but the cape is pulling him to go get that kind of restraint suit. And when that's happening, that reminded me of sort of the same playfulness that Doctor Strange was exhibiting when he was using portals in the library, breaking rules to snatch books over the librarian, Benedict Wong, who did a great job, by the way, as the librarian. Benedict Wong needs a serious nod.
Yeah, Adele Wong.
Adele Wong, Beyonce Wong. But so I mean, there was that playfulness, and I really liked that scene. I really loved that dynamic between Benedict Wong overall and Benedict Cumberbatch. They had great screen chemistry for that. And people can complain about the whitewashing of the character all they want, but they said the Ancient One is a Celtic woman, so fine, they changed it. Stop complaining. But Benedict Wong got the most on-screen personality revelation, in my opinion, of any character other than Stephen Strange.
And I like that he went out to battle on his own. And also, I want to see what you guys think. So, the Marvel, they decided to stay away from like the stereotypical Ancient One, like just like a older, bald, wise Asian man, because they thought that would just play the stereotypes too much. So then they went with Tilda because they thought that maybe if they did the older, wise magician Asian man, that would be a stereotype.
I think that was their reasoning for Iron Man 3 and like kind of the Mandarin and Ben Kingsley and just kind of reworking that. Like they were worried like the comic book version would be too offensive. It would translate as really offensive on screen. So I think that's something that Marvel is actually like worried about these days.
I think they actually like tried to do something good here with this Ancient One to try to avoid the stereotypes, and then they got bombed for it. But then
Tilda has demonstrated time and time again. What was it? Only Lovers Lost. Constantine.
We need to talk about Kevin.
Yeah, we need to talk about Kevin. Constantine. She is really good at these kind of mystical characters. She is the go-to person for this. Like,
you know what it is? Like she always makes you feel on edge. Like you don't really know how to feel. Like I don't want to say uncomfortable, but at the same time, it's like you never really want to like take your eyes off her because it's
untrusting. Untrusting, and it's a good thing the way she does it.
Yeah, she does it very well. Very well.
And what's interesting is that so she keeps you a little edgy, right? And Mordo becomes our closing villain. Is it me? Now, forgive. Other than delivering his doctrine, Mads Mikkelsen, his character Caecilius. Damn it! One day I'll get that right. So his character didn't seem to be an effective on-screen villain for me. His character was kind of the dealer of villainy.
I guess this is what I think. I think Mads Mikkelsen did some good work in there, Mr. Doctor, and then like he's like, that's strange. He's like, well, that's up for interpretation. Like this, the way he delivers his lines and the fact that I think he's awesome, like made me buy into him. But if it was like a guy named Steve Balsawood playing it, like I'd be like, this villain sucks.
Oh, Mads did very well with what he was dealt. I'm just saying that I don't feel like the writers were concerned with highlighting the conflict between him specifically and Stephen Strange.
Oh,
Instead, it was his cause, which is encapsulated ultimately by even Mordo in a way. Well, not it's not the same thing, but just he is just an opposition and not the nemesis.
Well, it just continues the trend of like terrible, one-dimensional, thin, antagonists in Marvel movies.
So we talk about how great it was what they redid with the Mandarin, but look at how horrible his actual villain was behind the curtain.
You know what it is? Like, I think like Marvel's approach to like all the movies they made, like they're very character centric. Like a lot of the plot is so focused on the protagonist, like the villain kind of almost becomes an afterthought in most of their movies, and it's just like. Yeah, like a lot of Marvel movies like turn out great. Like the heroes are always like faithfully represented, but like the villains always kind of get the shaft, and it's just like that kind of continues here with Caecilius, and I wouldn't be surprised if Mordo just doesn't really live up to his potential in the Doctor Strange sequel.
And Dormammu
was kind of. Whatever.
That was phoned in just so that Stephen Strange could show his time loop and then create the situation where he's now in the moral gray zone.
Yeah.
Can I say
the main bad guy there was phoned in, though, in my opinion.
I kind of liked. I guess that the director of what he said, why he added him was. In the beginning, Doctor Strange was such an arrogant turd, but at the end, he kind of just willingly sacrificed himself on a time loop.
I thought that sequence was pretty awesome, actually.
That's a further opportunity for that.
Yeah, like he furthered the character, and I kind of like that there's like an ancient almighty being that got fooled. Tricked you! I've never seen that before.
I've come here to make a bargain.
Yeah.
but for our listeners, we're talking about random Marvel villains, etc. I just got to give a random plug. Episode 55 of our podcast was ranking the villains of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which was only as of April of this year. But
yeah.
Baron Zemo is my favorite.
Zemo was pretty cool.
That scene where he's listening to his voicemail of his wife's voicemail.
Harrowing.
Like, I know this sounds. I don't know if I've said this on the podcast, but I can't. When my wife leaves me voice messages, I can't delete them now. I know that's weird and kind of grim, but
yeah, that is kind of grim, dude.
I just can't. I can't do it. Like, I just love her. I love the voicemails.
No,
so
that's actually very sweet, but also kind of depressing to think about.
Yeah,
too, so.
But that, like, when has a movie affected you like that?
Yeah, I guess Civil War just it really it's really deep. I guess.
So this is the point in the podcast, and this happens a lot of times when I'm very critical of a movie that I very much enjoyed, that I have to remind listeners that as critical as I am, I loved this movie. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. Sometimes I don't know how I sound. I don't know if I sound like I'm bashing the movie ever, but like I love this movie.
Actually, can we talk about the mid-credit scene? Not the post-credit scene, but the mid-credit scene. Like,
So, Elizabeth, walk us through that scene. Remind the listeners.
Oh, sure. So you see
take me on a journey.
Yeah, you see Doctor Strange just talking to somebody like off screen, and the show is like, I keep a list of like people from like visitors from other realms here, and like, why are you here? And then you hear like a really gruff, like low voice, is like, well, I'm here looking for my brother or something, or looking for my father. And the camera cuts to Thor, and he's drinking like this huge mug full of beer. And the camera cuts to Doctor Strange for like a couple seconds, and the camera cuts back to Thor, and like the beer is already gone. But then you see like the mug already filling back up magically. I'm like, yes. So basically the mid credit scene is just setting up Thor 3, and by the end of the scene, you can tell that Doctor Strange is going to have like. He's going to make like a somewhat significant cameo because he ends the scene like, allow me to help you. You know?
Now, what I thought was neat about that is that Strange did not simply identify Loki as the threat. He identified the presence of Loki and Thor as a threat.
It seemed like Strange is playing the role of like a border cop. Like, can I see your papers?
And they identify, it's like, Thor is magical, and of course he relates it in the movies to a science that hasn't yet been figured out by humanity.
I just thought of something cool. What if there was a scene where Strange tried to pick up the hammer?
Oh.
How would that play out? I think that would be hilarious.
I still think that Cap should have budged the camera, the hammer more.
No, Team Tony.
Yeah.
I like it. I like the two of them together. I think with the Thor character, you almost need that kind of balance with him, because a lot of these, I think the two of them would work great. I'd like to see Loki and Doctor Strange, and actually Doctor Strange, from what I know in the comics, is he's the one that really sort of keeps Thanos from coming to the Earth through the dimensions.
Really?
So he's going to play a major part in the upcoming Avengers movies.
He's going to do the none shall pass.
That's right.
I'm glad Doctor Strange is going to be in Thor 3, because I didn't really like Thor 1 and Thor 2, and I know that the Incredible Hulk is going to play a significant role in Thor 3, and now we see a Doctor Strange is going to be I'm really hoping that we get a good Thor movie. I like the character, I like Chris Hemsworth, but Thor 1 and 2 were just kind of, it was just meh, This mid-credit scene has me excited for Thor 3, which is something I never thought I would say.
And it has Kate Blanchett, Carl Urban, Jeff Goldblum.
The Goldblum.
Dude, it's going to be amazing.
When you said that it was Strange keeps a list,
yeah,
I honestly immediately was transported in my head to Happy Gilmore, where Steve Buscemi crosses Happy Gilmore's name off the list and then proceeds to sloppily put the lipstick on. I imagine Stephen Strange with the lipstick.
Yeah, in Thor 3, he looks over his shoulder and points at Strange, man, I'm glad I called that guy.
I know that sounds crazy, and I'm going to have to let it linger, but like the Cranberries. But I think Doctor Strange might be my second favorite Marvel movie, just as in terms of being able to watch it a lot. I can watch Iron Man a lot. I could probably do Ant-Man. I think I could put this on in the background and be happy with it.
I totally agree, because as soon as I walked out of theater, my instant reaction was, this is probably the best Marvel movie I've seen since Iron Man 1. I think, there's a lot of similarities between the characters, Tony Stark and Doctor Strange, but I'm just the two actors, they take two radically different approaches towards the plot and the characters are very similar, but I feel they're different enough to enjoy them on their own. And Doctor Strange comes in at a very, very close number 2 to Iron Man 1 for me.
So how do you guys feel about this movie compared to the original Doctor Strange movie?
I never saw it.
Mm-mm.
You know the dude who did The Puppet Master?
Yeah, he directed it?
Really?
Yeah, Charles Band evidently at some point got the licensing for Doctor Strange back in the 80s. I'm sorry, in the 90s. And he only had the licensing for a little while, I guess, or he had it for a while and he didn't do anything with it. So then it kind of elapsed or whatever, and he didn't make the movie. And then after that, he made a movie called Dr. Mordred, which is essentially Doctor Strange, simply not called Doctor Strange. And it stars Jeffrey Combs, the Reanimator guy, as this Doctor Strange clone who very much looks like a low-budget Doctor Strange and acts and behaves and does things like a very much, whatever, cheap Doctor Strange. And he fights a bad guy who's the bad guy from Fright Night, who's this evil wizard. And so it's kind of funny that this movie was meant to happen on a very low-budget scale, and then it still happened as a knockoff.
Oh, my goodness. And you know that Joaquin Benedict turned it down, and then Joaquin Phoenix stepped into the role. Then he backed away, and then Benny Cumby came back in and took over.
Oh man, now don't get me wrong. I love Cumber Strange, right? I do love him. I'd never want to see him replaced. But when I think of Joaquin Phoenix, and I think of his phases of bewilderment and signs, and his face and his overall personality from Gladiator, I'd be very interested to have seen that iteration of Doctor Strange.
My heart says I wanted Ethan Hawke too. He almost got the role, but I'm very happy with Benny Cumby.
Ethan Hawke has been basically rehearsing for that for Doctor Strange for the last 20 years with that facial hair.
Yep.
And then his predestination.
Exact time travel and a goatee.
Yeah.
You know, I also would have been cool with Matthew McConaughey.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Dear. Can you imagine you're in a time loop and that poor dark matter demon has to hear all right over and over again? I'd give up too.
He wouldn't have made it past 3 loops. I'm like, no, I'm done.
And all these people had to do training for how to do your hands and everything. Matthew been like, I'm good, guys, and he'd just be kind of doing Tai Chi with this stuff. You know, he'd just be dancing.
No, he's a natural.
Shooting Doctor Strange rays, all right.
All right.
All right.
So,
Oh dear. Where have we taken this pod?
All right. The world's ending. Well, all right.
All right, guys. Before we sign off, are there any plugs you want to make?
Yeah, Lambcast, the large association of movie blogs, www.lamb. largeassmovieblogs.com. Great site, good people. Also, I want to promote John's latest podcast where he watches people cut origami. You normally fold it, which is kind of weird, but you just make comments and criticize them.
You know, some guy chased me with a pair of scissors. I'm like, when I told him wasn't using scissors just cheating? It's like, what?
Yep.
He tried to cut me.
And the name of it's Borigami.
Yeah.
If you say Edward Scissorhands in the voice of a feudal Japanese lord, it would sound like that movie.
Yeah.
Edward Scissorhands. And he's doing his little thing, mincing up some stack of paper into origami. I mean, I don't know how he's doing it with no folds, but I mean, he's doing it.
Everyone's basically cheating, and you're just making comments on it, Lazvath, but it's thrilling.
I try my best. Good. You got any plugs you want to make?
There are a couple listeners who have given some really great compliments over the last year. So I'm just going to throw out a shout out to Rick, just outside of Boston, and Jesse out in Camden County, New Jersey. They both provided questions or great compliments just in person, and so I hope they're listening, and I hope they're still enjoying along with all the other listeners.
Everybody who enjoys our podcast, you are associate producers.
That's not a binding contract, by the way. So just throwing that out there.
It's like an honorary thing.
Yeah,
It's what you get a gold. When you get a plastic share star.
Well, even then, that's not even guaranteed. So
yeah. So I mean, you're the associate. Twice removed. This isn't binding producers.
Sure.
You're not even allowed on set.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you can talk about it, but yeah, that's about it.
You just get to say that you're the associate quadrupled producer.
Nothing set in stone.
All right. All right, guys. I think that does it for a podcast. I think the verdict is just go see Doctor Strange, I guess.
In Hollywood, if you're listening, make Indiana Jones 4.
Please. Last Crusade was how many years ago? 2 decades ago?
Yeah, we need another one.
Sure.
The Last Crusade was 94, wasn't it?
No way. It was 87.
No, it was the 90s. It was the 90s, right?
Last Crusade?
Yeah.
I'm typing it in right now.
All right. For my co-host, Mark Hoffmeyer.
Peace, love, 89.
89, that was close.
No way!
John Lemongood.
I said no way.
I've been your host, John Lasso, and apparently we're going to go watch Last Crusade.
Yeah.
We'll see you guys.
above the target. T-minus 5 seconds till shark drop. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drop the shark! Go! Go! Go!
This podcast is a Shark Dropper Studios production.